Here we have the Nano Nitro Slingshot Habitat set, the Elevated Nitro Playground by HexBug, new for 2016. I will now assemble this set and show you all the aspects in my detailed playtest review. Here it is all set up, really well packaged inside the box. Some bits are already assembled, but you quickly learn how to break and open the joints. Very, very easy, great fun assembly. Now everything you see on the table is included in the set, including these two HexBug Nano V2 Nitro bugs. Now they're very similar to the V2 bugs because they've got their spines on the back which allow them to climb up vertically through tubes, and you'll see these doing this in this set. But they've actually got 5 spines and these are faster than the V2s. We'll put some V2s in the set later, but let's just get one bug in just to show you all the various different parts to the set. They already come with batteries. They take standard LR44 button cell batteries, so just some of these spare, very cheap to get. I buy large quantities off eBay and get them at a very good price. So as you saw, this white Nitro came along this top here and he actually did a spiralling twist as he descended, and that's why he ended up on the bottom on his feet. So I'm just going to quickly pop the other HexBug Nano in whilst he goes up the spiral on the right hand side. So if you watch the blue one, again he starts on his feet, rotates around, comes out the bottom, also on his feet. Now the white HexBug Nitro has actually flipped himself upside down on the right there, and as you can see he's doing a very good job of moving on his back. Okay, he's now on his side and he's self-righted, he's on his normal feet again. And these are much better on their backs than the original V2s. That's partly because they've got 5 back spines. I'm calling them spines rather than the legs, just to help with the orientation so you know what I mean by on the feet. So he's on his feet, now he's going through a twist tunnel tube here. And that's so again, he comes out the bottom, again on his feet. So he went in, he's going to do it backwards now. He's going to go on his feet, he's actually upside down in the tube. And he again comes out on his feet because this one does a barrel roll this way, whilst this one does a barrel roll whilst going down a level 3 curve. And I'm calling that level 3 curve because as you see it comes out on the very top of this 1, 2, 3 tier platform, where this curve and this straight barrel roll is, let's call it a half height curve because it goes from level 1 to level 2. So these guys are happily buzzing around, and I can see they've actually got themselves wedged between 2 pillars, so you do need to interact. So they can self-right, but they can absolutely push themselves into corners and avenues where you need to give them a little helping hand. Now you need to make sure things are properly assembled, make sure all the joints are smooth, and you can do that by touch. There's a really nice playground feature on the top there, which hopefully the blue HexBug is going to, but he's ignoring me, play with, which is basically a merry-go-round, so they can actually hook their noses into this circular piece of track and start to go around in circles. And I'm going to grab them both one by one. Let's get the blue one in there first. So there he is, and I'm going to quickly grab the white one before he goes in again. Okay, didn't want to stand there too long, the blue one, and he's already off on his merry way. But the white one's demonstrating that quite nicely there and seems to quite like it now. I've got him onto the top. Now I'm actually going to rotate the whole set around a few times so you can see all the various different aspects, and I'm also going to show you how compatible this is with the original HexBug Nano V2 and all the original HexBug Nano V1, V2 and Nitro and Neon compatibility with all the tracks, etc. So very, very good set because there's so much to do. I love the blue track, and certainly these Nitro bugs are buzzing around, and already my comment would be they self-right a lot better than I remember the V2 bugs being able to do. So that's already a big thumbs up. Let's get on with some other experiments and get some more bugs into this set. I've rotated the set around so that you can now see the back, because you can see the curved spiral up and down piece, as well as this other join that's a little bit hidden, and all this extra track at the back. So there's 50 pieces in total, as well as the 2 bugs, and this set is really quite clever. It's got almost air-free junction on all the hex cells, almost all in use. There's only a few of the doors that are actually shut. What I mean by shut and closed, well, let's just shut this one here and take this bit of track off, and as you can see it's a little bit of stretching and flexing and prizing, but as you can see I've now closed these 2 up, taken this off because I might want to use it somewhere else, or what I'm actually going to do is show you that it's totally compatible with the older sets. So the grey track was typically used in the HexBug Nano 1 range, and the white track was used typically in the HexBug Nano V2 range, and as you can see, all totally interchangeable. Now, taking advantage of this slightly clearer area, I can also talk a little bit more about what these flap gates are and these black pegs. So I hadn't put this one in play. I've had this on the side just to remind me that I've not been talking about these yet, but I'm just going to go through them a little bit. So let's just say I've angled them a little bit like this. As you can see, you can almost make a maze area yourself just out of the flap gates. So you can choose their decision. So they're not just an open cell now. I've almost made a corridor, and a few more of these could almost make a line. So you can do quite a lot with these things, including bias the direction. So I could say that any bug coming this way is going to hit that, deflect this way. It's going to go to its right coming down. So what I'm going to do is reverse the blue. It's going to go down there again, although the white HexBug's coming to show us as well. So eventually when the blue one, you can go and do it as well, eventually when the blue one comes through the barrel roll, he's getting pushed a little bit by the white one to hurry him along. He's now going to deflect to the right, and he's more likely to go right, and he's completely missing this area. Now look at the white one, very much more clever, has actually come this way. But as you can see, you're influencing the flow, and that might be what you want to do. And as you get more bugs and expand, I'm going to do a little bit of a quick expansion and also show you again the compatibility with the older sets. So I'm going to pop in here first of all an HexBug Nano 2 playset piece. Just pop that in place. I've already got these two doors open, and I'm also going to show that I can remove these sides. So these white side pieces, including them on the door, can just pull out, and that means I've got a much larger area. And now I might want to change the area of deflection and get them into this area. So I've now made a much bigger play area by removing some pieces. I'm now going to add another old hex cell, and that's a non-playground piece. So these, A, there's no holes, and B, the sides aren't removable. But that's how they were originally. And again, I'm just showing you that if you've got old track like I have from the old original Nano 1s and 2s, you can absolutely use them still in this set with these Nitro guys. There's of course extra bugs available, as well as extra sets. We'll go into that in a minute when we look at the back of the box. But this Nitro 5-pack is a particularly economic way of getting 5 additional Nitro Nanos into play. And once you've got a bit more track like this, and there's certainly room for them to be running around, introducing a few more into play is exactly what you're going to do. Now, too many, and you'll find that you get chances where, now those two are the same direction, but if I also had two going this way, then it becomes a real just tug of war and a push of war, and you're shunting and pushing, and by bad luck you'll get situations where you get a bit of a log jam. And I can show that's an absolute log jam at the back there. What I'm going to do is just zoom in onto the jam, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So we're going to just ease the camera up right to the back there, let the camera focus. So what you got there is a log jam. I've got so many bugs going up and so many bugs going down that no matter how hard they push and how many more I pop in there, even, and I'm going to go crazy now, even if I force more down the top, they're not going to solve their problem. There just isn't enough force and power, and I'm going to start pulling these guys out. Now sometimes all I do is push more guys in one direction, and eventually they'll push themselves out, but I can see there's a bug right on the bottom there trying to go up, and so for some reason these guys, even though there's about 6 or 7 now pushing their way down, they can't push themselves out. So I'm going to have to quickly dismantle that track, solve that problem, and I'll come back in a moment. These Nano Nitros can of course climb vertically, and I mean totally vertically. So here's a couple of tubes I've got from a V2 set, and I'm going to pop in Blue Nitro, and he's going to just climb absolutely straight up. So although there aren't any of these tubes included in this set, I'm going to let them come up top, there we go. Absolutely, these guys are brilliant climbers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add quite a few other bits of track, including some vertical parts. So I'm going to keep expanding it to show you how little extra you need to add to get quite a few extra features and to incorporate any of your old track again. So I've done a lot of changes, moved things around a bit, removed some track, added loads of the clear Nano V2 track, including a nice vertical part over there. Let's get the original 2 Hive Nitro Hive bugs in and going. I'm going to add a third nitro bug in from the pack that I've got at the back. I've got a couple of those packs. So there's 3 new Nano Nitro bugs buzzing around, and there's a blue one just about to climb there on the right, followed by the white. Now sometimes, and you can see that clip could have a little gap. Now because of the way I've snaked it, they're on the back, and that's really an advantage for the Nitros because they're much better on their backs and they're also self-right. So I'm now going to pop 3 Nano V2s in on their feet, of course. There's a green, there's an orange, and there's a grey. So we've got a blue, white and black, or very dark grey Nitro, and we've now got 3 completely different colour V2s, so you can track them as they progress around the track. Now although I've got a little bit of a stuck Nitro there, that's going to be my clip, and if I squeeze that, yeah, I probably didn't have that made quite correctly, and I probably jostled that a little bit. All worked before, of course, I've got the camera on. But now that everybody's watching, of course they're showing me up. But you can see they're all having quite good fun. And if you look closely, you're going to see the differences in speed. Now I've got an orange V2 that just didn't even get up. He got stuck on the side and was not righting itself. And it's not that they can't right, they can, but they just don't do it as well. They just don't seem to have that same ferocity or energy that these new Nano Nitros have. Now the Nitros have only got demo batteries. I've not changed them to there as they come out of the box or the box set itself, so not done anything fancy here. Okay, so whilst they're buzzing around, for those that aren't so familiar with the track, how you actually make all these joins, it's really quite nice and slick. All the tube connectors have these white connector pieces, and a little squeeze allow them to come apart. And that's tube to tube, whole squeeze, and you also get what they call, well, what I call half connectors, where you allow the connector tube to connect to either another half section. Why would you? But that's just in case you've run out of hole clips, or what you'd normally do, you're connecting it to straight track. So that's the hermaphrodite connector that allows you to connect either track or tubes together. Okay, let's have a look how they're doing. Now we've got here a Nitro on its back pushing past and accelerating past an old V2. We've also got a few that are on this side that I might well give a helping hand to, but there's an old V2. Now this blue guy, this blue Nitro, is doing its darndest to climb up a launch pad point here. And again, maybe I've not got this clipped on quite so well. He's stuck there a little bit, but he's going to make it or not himself. But as you can see, I've got 6 in play here, and this Habitat set is a great starting point with the slingshot, because it's got so much in it already and very easy to expand if you've got some existing pieces, or if you're going to buy more of the new Nitro sets. And there's another set that they've got out called the Habitat Nitro Playground, which has got fewer pieces than this, but it gives you more of these hex cells and allows you to then expand and give you more, let's call it field space and play area. Now I'm also going to show you now, by putting in a whole bunch more Nitros, what can happen if you have too many in at once. So I've just deliberately pushed the Nitro down head on so they can overtake. But sometimes you'll get 2 going up, 2 going down, head on, and there's only room for 2 in these corridors, and that can cause log jams. So too many in one playset can cause you some problems. But hey, it's all interactive. You're meant to interact with these guys. There we go, I've got a log jam. And that's because bugs are on the side and they're not being allowed to come out because other bugs have then come charging in. So that V2 bug there was going to climb, but it's on its side. Another guy who was trying to push past wasn't giving it any time, and that is what can happen. So bugs are on the side, and again an old V2. I'm going to start slowly taking out the old V2s, because although they're absolutely fine, they're not necessarily up to full peak. There's another V2, let's get him out, even though it's just having fun on the roundabout. In fact, if I can stop that grey bug in there. Now there's a bit more bouncing going on, and so they don't seem to like to stay in the playground area quite as much as that an old V2. Yep, that's an old V2 as well, so I'm just going to take him out. Now, I've got an absolute snarl up at the back. You probably can't even see this, you might be able to hear some of the buzzing. And that again was because I had a nitro this time on its side. So it can absolutely happen with nitros as well, don't get me wrong. It wasn't the V2s that are just clogging things up. It really can happen to all of them. Now I'm deliberately sending a few up here because I've actually got a bit of an issue for some reason with my launch pad track. Now the idea of the launch pad actually is you have a system where you throw them in and you actually catch them in here, and they don't normally come up. So this isn't really how it's meant to be used, but I thought what I'd do is have that to see the guys climbing up, and just to show you that they can, and you can integrate all your pieces from various sets. So I'm going to stop some of the bugs buzzing now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this explains all the various different parts you get with the Nano Nitros and the more ferocious buzzing energy motors that they've clearly got. They clearly are able to run upside down much better. Those 5 bristles in the backs really makes a difference, and all in all, really good set, good starting point here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment. There's a very small but simple, straightforward set of instructions that covers everything, including how the HexBug cells work, how to change the batteries, how to make the connection, the joins, how to build the spiral, and all various important parts. But as I said, the actual box, the way that they're packaged inside here, many of these pieces are already assembled. So because of that, you can already see how the joins are done. And there's a very good detailed description on the back, as you can see here, on the back of the box, that explains how to make the build. There is one other set available currently, end of 2016, and that's the Habitat Nitro Playground set. I've got another video that shows you that. That only comes with 1 bug and less pieces, but again, combined together with this and your ever-growing collection, you really get to make some quite large, epic sets. The Nitros with the 5 spines on the back really is an improvement and a real enhancement, and I'm going to do many other videos that show their abilities, comparing them with V2s, V1s, both races, challenges, climbing speeds and maze hunting, as well as gladiatorial fighting in the battle arenas. Many more to come on this channel.